modulation. As I mentioned, I've got 2 bugs with FM synthesis on the Novation Peak. I just bought this synth a week ago, and I'm a specialist in FM synthesis, and I want to reproduce these issues. Here's my firmware. It's the latest one. And okay, let's start from scratch. Initialized patch, and what we have a perfectly good and tuned sawtooth. Now I'm change the volume for third oscillator and change it to sine wave for all of them. Now I've got a perfect sine wave, and I'm go to the mode matrix to modulate the frequency of third oscillator by the second one. What we here have, it's a clean wave with no detuning. It's perfect, as it should be in FM synthesis when you modulate one sine by another. If I increase the rate of modulation, intensity, it's okay. Now I'm going to mode matrix slot 2 and using the third oscillator to modulate the frequency on the second one, like a free operated algorithm, and increase the intensity of modulation. And what we have, the inharmonics comes. I don't know why, but they are in the same range and perfectly tuned. And it's just 2 free sine waves. Okay, I understood though that if the first modulator in the chain is higher than the second one, this inharmonics is not happen. Okay. Now it's okay, and if I go higher, it will be okay too. But if the frequency of the first oscillator in this chain is lower or the same, the inharmonics happen. And it's not okay, because it's not the behavior what we expect. And okay, if I'm going this for 16, now this oscillator is higher on octave than this, the inharmonics doesn't happen. And it's perfectly fine. Okay. For example, here they're on the same frequency and the inharmonics is calm. It's not okay. It's higher. It's okay. All right. This is the first issue. They have a free operator FM, and if the frequency of the highest modulator, I mean the first modulator, is higher than the frequency or equal higher, it's okay, and it's lower or equal the second one, it's not okay. The second issue is about wavetable and FM synthesis by using them. I'm starting from scratch and using the same idea. I'm going to modulate the sine wave. Give me a second. Change the volume. Of the third oscillator by the second one. And I'm starting from B sine. It's perfectly sine, like maybe like a filtered triangle, but it's okay. go into Mathemagics to modulate it. It's okay. It's okay just for sine, triangle. So truth, if it's the case, show it later. In this case, it's okay. Square wave and first wavetable. But if I change it, for example, for zing, the inharmonic comes, and it's okay for FM synthesis because we have a complex waveform. But the idea what the output is detuned, not consistent harmonics, but detuned. If I increase the fine tune of the carrier by 25, now it's more stable, and it's okay for all other wavetables. For example, wobbler. If it's in the middle position, you can hear this like a detuning. But if I try to fine tune it, we have just in harmonics, but not the detune for chords. As you can see, it's a little bit detuned because of this number 25. It's like I found it by experimenting. As you can see, this a little bit detuned, but the frequency is a little bit stable. But if we are starting from scratch, do not use tuning. We have this. Okay, I'm going to fine-tune the carrier, and now it's in tune. And it's almost for all wavetables except the BS sine wave, base station sine wave, and octaves. I can also fine-tune the modulator by -25 to do the same, but now I have a little detuning of scale. Now it's tune, I mean these two operator in the algorithm is tune, but for example for G note it's not G anymore, and I have to fine-tune the carrier instead of modulator. Okay, we can change it, try another wavetables. It's tuned just because I use a fine tune. And okay, if I decrease the intensity of modulation, I need to find new fine-tuning point to a little bit high, I think. Yeah. And we have like some proportion between them. it can be used with like a envelope to modulate frequency of carrier and FM. But if I want to use, for example, LFO, I cannot control the frequency of the carrier. It's really not okay, and it's the case. And what next? Maybe it's the problem of the detuning of wavetable by modulating something or another wavetable. For example, I can modulate. Now it's okay, just because I've got a fine tune, and without it. If I try to modulate it by another, I'm changed to 16 as it was, for 42 in frequency modulation, and now I'm trying to modulate the second oscillator by the first. For example, with another wavetable. And what do we have? And it's really hard for me to tune it now. No, it's really hard. But if I open the second oscillator, now the first is modulator, the second is the carrier. I'm going to 25 for maximum. And organ, modulating organ. As you can see, here is for full modulation. I have to go to maybe 9 to make them to be in tune. And if I'm just like starting from scratch and using the wavetable to modulate wavetable, arbitrarily. I need to like play with the tuning too. Now it's better, but it's not the case. It's not okay. I mean, okay. What we have? This is the problem, and maybe it's in my synthesizer. Maybe it's like can be reproduced on another. Maybe it's a problem on FPGA. I tried to calibrate it, but it's give me nothing. Here we are. Maybe you can help me. I really want it. And thank you for watching. Bye.